Round 8 of the 2011 FIA Formula 2 Championship about to get underway then here at the Nürburgring. Yesterday's man, Mirko Bortolotti, takes pole position for this one, but Tobias Hegervold, a much stronger qualifying performance from him. You can see there, second on the grid after languishing down in the midfield yesterday. Will Bratt and Johannes Theobald, his best qualifying performance of the season so far, to line up in 4th place. So we've got a German on the front row of the grid behind an Italian, Mirko Bortolotti. Plamen Kralev lines up in his appropriate position. The green flag is waved, the 5-second board goes out, the lights come on, and a longer hold before we're finally away. It's a good start again from Mirko Bortolotti. Max Snegerev darting out in the middle, and Tobias Hegervold isn't going to be close enough to make a move. Look at Johannes Theobald coming up the inside, challenging for 2nd place. Jack Clark super late on the brakes to slide through the middle of them, and around the outside there at turn 1, that is Will Bratt moving up into 2nd position. A very good move from him. They're all safely around the first corner. That was an impressive manoeuvre from Will Bratt. Johannes Theobald still then 4th. Christopher Zanella pushing hard behind to try and go around the outside of Mikkel Mack. He's then going to have the inside line for the right-hander at turn 4, and he moves up into what is, I think, 6th position. They all filter through. We've got one car off. Is that Max Snegerev? I couldn't quite see, but on the way down into here's a replay of the start, and Will Bratt, a great move here, James.
That's right, he used the space on the outside. Everybody just seemed to go tight, and he's taken a good advantage through it.
So very impressive from him. Are we going to see the incident towards the back of the pack? Yes, we are. Oh, it's almost roll for Max Snegerev. I thought it was Snegerev. It was Snegerev, and he has had a fairly almost roll there. But hopefully he can rejoin the race. These cars, of course, do have starter motors in them. So the rest of the field making their way down towards the hairpin at the Dunlop curve for the first time. There's the number 2 car, James Cole, ex-British Formula 4 champion, and off goes Plamen Kralev towards the barriers and softly into the barriers. Will that have damaged his rear left suspension? It didn't look like too hard a hit, but he will try and get going again, and I think he will get going again by the looks of things. Then we've got Alex Brundle and Jack Clark doing battle. They will be off to Brands Hatch, their home race next time out in late July. So we're focusing here on this second race of the weekend here at the Nürburgring. Mirko Bortolotti leads it, as he has led every lap of racing action so far this weekend. But Will Bratt putting him under a reasonable amount of pressure. Then it's 2 Germans in 2nd and 3rd place. Jack Clark having a little look up the inside of Alex Brundle, who did collide here with Will Bratt in race 1. And he's going to be coming under a lot of pressure from Jack Clark as they choose whether to use their overboosts or not. In fact, it's Mickey Monras looking the most racy. Johannes Theobald running very, very strongly, but he's going to be passed, is he, by Christopher Zanella. Zanella looks to the outside. Johannes Theobald keeps it all under control, and the German has a reasonable amount of experience on German circuits.
Johannes is actually really impressing me this weekend. He's finding himself in a position he hasn't been in Formula 2, and he's keeping Zanella behind him, who, of course, has been fantastic this year already. So hopefully he can get some good results under his belt.
Yep, Zanella, of course, the 2nd place man in the championship. Johannes Theobald has raced in Germany for the majority of his career, really, doing Formula Koenig. Back in 2004 was when his racing started. A couple of years in the Recaro Formula 3 trophy for a couple of races in the Formula Renault 3.5 series in 2007. Then he didn't do anything until popping up in Formula 2 last year. So here's Mihai Marinescu. Has he got a bit of a damage on his front nose? He has. So Marinescu is obviously just gently nerfed into the back of someone. That's therefore, it's not really going to be affecting his downforce too much, is it, James? If anything, it's just going to be cooling his feet. Yeah,
I think it'll just be making it a little more pleasant for him. But it's interesting that Mihai is there with Ramon, 2 very quick drivers, but it shows you how close these cars are. Once you get in the pack, you struggle to make headway, but if anyone's going to, I expect these 2 to.
And out is Parthiva Suresh-Warren. That's a clearly bent front right suspension arm, and it's Sunghak Mun has gone up the inside of him. Suresh-Warren has, oh wow, he nearly goes over as well. So we've had 2 airborne incidents so far today, and well, it looked as though he perhaps just didn't give Sunghak Mun enough room.
It was quite a late lunge, but I think the move was on, so maybe Parthiva should have just, as you say, given him more room and lived to fight another day.
Battle for 4th place, side by side, down into the first corner. Christopher Zanella on the outside. Johannes Theobald is going to hold the inside line and the high line, but Zanella goes all the way around the outside to move up into 4th place. So Christopher, who picked up his first podium in Formula 2 in the 2nd race of the season at Silverstone, and took 2 wins at Magny-Cours for a brace of podiums at Spa-Francorchamps, makes the move stick. battle for fourth position is still ongoing, and Johannes Theobald here has just lost out, or has he? Mikkel Max certainly got up alongside him. Brundle opportunistically darts up the inside line and makes it through. Now he's going to be in the slipstream of Johannes Theobald. Clark is right up behind Mikkel Mack as well. If anyone, I think it's going to be Clark who makes the move on Mikkel Mack. Under braking for the chicane they come. And it's a late move from Alex Brundle actually, up the inside of Johannes Theobald, and they collect each other, and that is a spectacular roll for Johannes Theobald. Mickey Monras takes avoiding action. You can see Theobald moving around in the car, so he should be all right, but a late look up the inside from Alex Brundle. It doesn't look as though he has any damage to the car, but he and Mikkel Mack have made up a couple of positions, but that was quite a spectacular accident, James.
That was. It looked like Brundle was really sure of that manoeuvre going into it, but he backed out quite late on when he saw Johannes coming across, and that often signals the end for either driver. They do come together in those situations.
And that, of course, is the danger of open wheel racing. And Alex Brundle then, that means he has inherited fifth position after all of that. So Johannes Theobald, I'm pretty sure, will be out of the race, because these strong F2 cars, I don't think the suspensions can take that kind of pounding on the tarmac as it flips over. And we've got the safety car out, so for the first time this season we have got the safety car, the Audi, waiting down there at the bottom of the pit lane. And let's see this replay. It's Alex Brundle. It's a very, very late move. Theobald turns in and up he goes, and the first roll isn't quite as spectacular, but then has a couple more, doesn't he? And that's going to put your spine out of place. Safety car comes in then, and Mirko Bortolotti will lead the field away. Out of the final corner he turns, and across the start-finish line, Will Bratt not really close enough, and he's going to be right up behind though and use a boost, but I'm sure Mirko Bortolotti will have saved a boost as well, so he comes under no pressure at all, really, of note, down into turn one for the first time on this restart. Zanella is now right up with our third place man, Tobias Hagevold, so that's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. If anything, Zanella is going to be the raciest man on the circuit. Brundle appears to have had no ill effects from that collision. There's Timo Storz and Ramon Pinheiro. Ramon's made his way a little bit further up the order. I think he is now running, well, towards the latter end of the top 10. Zanella, look at this, right up behind Johannes Theobald now, Tobias Hagevold I should say, and he's looking to the outside. That's going to give him the better cutback down towards the Dunlop curve, but he got a little bit out of shape, just tried to get on the power a little bit too early, but he's going to be right in the tow. Hagevold will go defensive down into the hairpin. He doesn't need to, because Zanella's not quite close enough, doesn't quite clip the apex there, because the trick is to hug the inside all the way round. Mirko Bortolotti has been pretty much unstoppable this weekend, a very commanding performance. Almost as commanding as, well, perhaps even more commanding compared to Christopher Zanella's antics at Magny Cours 2 meetings ago. And Mirko Bortolotti turns into the chicane for the final time. It's been a commanding performance this weekend from Mirko Bortolotti. He's going to extend his lead at the top of the 2011 FIA Formula 2 Championship. The man from Trentino exits the final corner. The checker flag is out, and the checker flag falls for the second time this weekend for Mirko Bortolotti. Second place man is going to be Christopher Zanella across the line. Mickey Monras is going to be very, very close to Jack Clark. In fact, he's got past Jack Clark, hasn't he, at the final corner. Another move we didn't see is Christopher Zanella has actually come across the line in third place ahead of Tobias Hagevold. So that's obviously taken place somewhere out of our sight. The rest of the field come across the line now then, and Marinescu down in 11th place, but it's Bortolotti who takes the win comfortably at the end of the day.